My name is Kate Kern-Mundy. I'm a professional artist, and today I'm showing you how to mount a watercolor or gouache on a cradled panel. This process can also be used for oil paintings on paper, and you can mount them on a cradled panel. You can frame it like this one, or you can paint the edge and put a sawtooth hanger like this one. Step one, we are going to use a matte medium to protect the paper from the wood. There's oils in the wood that we do not want to come through on the paper. The brush, I'm going to go on really, really light. I want it to be very smooth. I don't want to have any bubbles in the surface. Nothing that's going to show through on the front of the paper. This cleans up in water. And just to make sure there are no bumps or lumps, I have my old subway card that I'm going to use just to squeegee out anything on the surface. And this will dry pretty quickly. So when this is dry, we will glue the image down to the surface. I forgot to turn my microphone on when I was filming this, so you get a little voiceover. We're going to use PVA glue, which is a water-soluble and reversible glue. It's archival. And so if you ever need to take the image off, you could wet it and take it off. You could use matte medium to glue your image down to the wooden panel like you did in the prior step, but you would never be able to get it off of the panel. So here I'm adding just enough glue. Again, I don't want lumps. And so I'm trying to put it down really evenly and work quickly. It's a hot day, so it's drying very quickly. Again, smoothing it out using the credit card. I brought in a little spritzer of water because it was drying so quickly. And what you want to do is just brush that water around so you don't end up with any droplets and it's all evenly coated. Then here I am trying to put the paper down in a way that it's completely even, that there's no overhang, that it's not crooked, and it's taking a little fiddling just to get it lined up properly. And then I'm going to flip it over. I just want to make sure you have a clean surface so you're not going to get it into a lump of glue, and that'll just get everything stuck down. And I'm going to put a piece of glassine, which is an archival protectant. You could use wax paper or even kitchen baking parchment. Now, heavy books to weight it down and then dry. All right, yesterday we glued down the painting. So this is Dorlands wax medium. There are other brands of wax medium. Glove here. This has resin as well as Damar varnish in it, and I really just don't want Damar varnish on my skin. I prefer to put this on with old t-shirt. You could use paper towel from the jar, start rubbing it on. A little bit more. And I sort of swatch all over the board, but sometimes the green will smear a little bit. So I just like to be really careful, start with a real light coating here, and then start to really work it in. The gouache is very flat, shines it up a little bit, which I like. This is on a fairly rough paper, so I'm getting a little bit of the paper texture there. I may need to add more wax. And one of the things I'm looking for is sure I have covered it evenly, which is, again, I'm just sort of looking at the glare on it. You want to let this really dry for 24 hours. And then after 24 to 48 hours, you can polish it again and buff up a really strong shine. So this protects it from UV rays. It will protect it from water, dust. This works on watercolor gouache. It will not work on colored pencil or anything with graphite. Graphite colored pencil, it will just smear. I believe you could use it on acrylic. I've heard people using it on oil, but I feel like for oil, just use, varnish made for oil paintings. So a lot of watercolor companies do not recommend waxing it because cannot work on it any further. They want to make it flexible for people who like to continue to work on a painting. But if you're ready to frame it, you're done working on it. You can also do this with oil paint. This is an oil painting I had done on paper. This was on a heavy printmaking paper that I had gessoed in gray gesso, and then I painted this little painting of St. James Street on there, and I wanted to frame it, but it was on paper. So I mounted it, the same process you saw with the watercolor, mounted it on a cradled panel. Then I was able to frame it. You want to use a matte medium on the wood to protect the paper. Then you're going to use the PVA glue to glue the paper down. If it's a hot day, it's going to dry fast. If you don't want to use matte medium, or that's just like an extra material to buy that you don't want to have, you can buy cradled panel. So a completely smooth pre-gessoed panel if you want to skip the matte medium step. But I hope this helps in just making the process of what do you do with works on paper easier.